What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday evening. The sun is shining here in the UK. I'm feeling very, very positive. I've been sat out in the garden. Very, very happy man. And before we do get into the show, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel and let's jump straight on into it. So I'm going to start the show off with some positivity, as you know I always like to do. This one is positive. So Fabrizio Romano has just come out in the last half an hour saying the here we go for Harry Maguire to West Ham is expected very soon. Music to my ears. I cannot wait to get those 3 words from Fabrizio on the Harry Maguire move to West Ham. This move has happened so quickly, it has, hasn't it? And I'm glad that we just haven't really had to talk about it much. I think the news broke yesterday, didn't it? Or a couple of days ago. And it feels like this transfer has gone so fast. So I'm really, really happy about this one. It's a great move for everybody. My DMs have been absolutely flooded with West Ham fans, all just saying, we don't want him. We're going to boo him. Like, honestly, I'm in shock. I am. But I'm happy. He's going, and I wish him all the best. Florian Plettenberg on the situation has come out in the last half an hour as well, saying that I understand there is now a total agreement between West Ham and Harry Maguire. There is also an agreement with Manchester United. So the reason I bring this up, there was a bit of concern in the community about whether Manchester United would be able to get rid of Maguire because of his wages. But apparently he has agreed personal terms with West Ham now. So personal terms aren't a problem. And the deal looks like it will go through. Apparently it's £30 million up front plus add-ons. We're not sure what the add-ons are, but it will be worth slightly more than £30 million. That's what's being reported in the last half an hour or so. But the key bit of information is that a total agreement has been done, and it is for more than £30 million. So West Ham, Sky Sports are reporting that West Ham and Manchester United now have an agreement in place to sign Harry Maguire for more than £30 million. I did a bit of a deep dive into this, and apparently it's around £30 million up front plus some add-ons, but we're not sure how much the add-ons are. We're not sure how achievable they are and all the rest of it. From what I heard, it was something to do with if West Ham qualify for Europe in the next 5 years, then there will be some add-ons to be paid. I'm still waiting to confirm that, but it was something along those types of lines where it's 30 guaranteed up front, because obviously West Ham have got all this money from the Declan Rice deal, and I think they got a lot of the Declan Rice money up front. So a bit of a stumbling block was whether Manchester United could get the money through the door immediately, and apparently that now has been resolved. So as always, I do like to start the show with some positivity. I do think this one is a positive story. So yeah, I'm really, really happy about this. Let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about this story. Obviously, we wish Harry Maguire all the best. I hope he goes on to have a really, really good career at West Ham, and I do think he will. I think he'll do well there. I do, and I wish him all the best. I'm not the type of person to boo our own players. Yeah, so I wish Harry Maguire all the best. We will get the here we go very, very soon. Fabrizio has reported. Obviously, we will go live when that happens, and we can all say our farewells to him. But let's move on to something a bit more exciting, because we don't want to spend this whole show talking about Harry Maguire. Let's talk about Amrabat. So we've had a story coming out this afternoon from a journalist in the UK saying that Manchester United have now started discussions with Fiorentina over Amrabat's move. And he says that they've also been in contact with Amrabat's brother and his representative. So it's more information saying that this deal is progressing slowly. We all know what the situation is with this one, so I don't need to go over it again. We're waiting for Fred and Donny to go. We will be talking about Fred in a minute, so watch out for that, and we will be talking about Donny. But as it stands, it doesn't look like Amrabat's going anywhere else. It looks like he's waiting for us. It looks like he's prioritising Manchester United, and that's exactly what I want, because there was people worried about Atletico Madrid. There was people worried about other clubs. It looks like he is waiting, and it looks like he will become a Manchester United player, which is really, really positive. Right, let's talk about Donny van de Beek, because we know that he is a vital part of this puzzle. So there's been a story coming out in the last hour or so saying that Manchester United prefer to sell Donny van de Beek on a permanent transfer, not a loan. Real Sociedad are currently exploring both options. So it looks like Real Sociedad are trying to pull the wool over our eyes, aren't they, ultimately? They're trying to do a loan, but Manchester United are saying no, either it's a permanent transfer or nothing. I think in the end, it will be a loan with an obligation to buy. That's what seems to be the most likely option here. But you know what? I do commend Manchester United for stamping their feet down and saying, we're not going to loan him out to you. Either you pay the money, either you cough up, otherwise we're just not going to do the deal with you. Yeah, so I'm happy about that one. Obviously, we do need him to go, though, in order to bring Sofian Amrabat in. So hopefully this one happens quickly. Hopefully he leaves, and hopefully then Amrabat signs in the immediate future. Keeping up the positivity. We've got so much positivity on the show today, guys. We really, really do. Now, I know this player is somebody that a lot of you want to leave. Anthony Martial. But there is some positive news coming out about Martial, okay? So this is coming from the Manchester Evening News in the last 20 minutes. Apparently, Anthony Martial has now resumed full training for Manchester United. So that means he's playing with the rest of the team. He's not training on his own. He's taking part in matches, you know, behind closed doors, all the rest of it. It says, after recovering from an injury that prevented him from participating in pre-season. So there is literally no excuses now for Anthony Martial to not be involved in the matchday squads. He's taking part in the full training. And if you want to look at this on the flip side, it does also mean that potentially we can move him on. He's fully fit. He's available to play football now. So yeah, one, either he starts or gets game time for Manchester United as a backup, or two, you know, now he can go on to be sold. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Martial. I would still sell him. I think if you can get any money for him at this point, I'd get rid of him. He's on 250 grand a week. He's got 1 year left on his deal. If we could remove him from the club, if we can save some wages, I would definitely let him go. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Obviously, I am happy that he's fit again, because you don't wish harm on any of your players, do you? And he has had a really torrid time at Manchester United. It's been really, really difficult for him. So I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's on the pitch. That's what's just been reported by Manchester Evening News. Right, let's move on to the next topic, though. Obviously, we will be talking about the centre-back situation in a minute, because I know a lot of you are really, really excited about that one. I can see somebody in the chat already asking me, great, it's great that Martial's back, but how long will he be back for, you know? Is he going to get injured again within a day? I mean, if that happens, like, I honestly will be speechless. If Martial gets injured again, I won't even know what to say. I'll be completely lost for words. Hopefully he gets some game time against Wolves. Hopefully he's on the bench, because I do think as an impact sub, he is a good player to have in our squad. If we get a good bid for him, I sell him, but I would rather have a fully fit Anthony Martial as an option than have him just sit on the bench. Sorry, not in the bench, in the medical room, earning 250 grand a week, doing nothing. Nobody's here for that. Yeah, there's people in the chat saying he's a flop and all the rest of it. I'm not going to go down that road, but I understand why you are all so frustrated. Let's keep on the centre midfield situation then. So we've got a story coming out from Sky Sports News in the UK. This is in the last half an hour. So they can now confirm that apparently Fulham are in talks now to sign Fred and are hopeful of reaching an agreement for the signing. So it looks like Fred will be moving to Fulham. Manchester United and Fulham are in talks at the moment over this deal. We don't know how much it's worth at this stage, but obviously it's really, really good that this is happening, because the Galatasaray move obviously fell through. Everybody thought that he's going to go to Saudi Arabia, but now it looks like Fulham will be his next destination, which I'm really happy about. Hopefully we get around 10 to 20 million for this player. Let me know in the comments section how much you think would be a fair price for Fred's signature. I think anything around them would be good. We've got over 700 people watching the show now. Big ups to everybody who is in the chat today. Big ups to all of this community. Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel. We're less than 200 subscribers away from 10k now. Absolutely amazing. We only started the channel about 8 weeks ago. So big ups to all of you who've been here since day one, and big ups to all the new people in the chat. Please do go and subscribe. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And if anything breaks during the day, we do go live. So do get involved in this amazing community. We will be talking about the centre-back situation in a little bit, guys. So hold on for a couple of minutes, and I will start talking about that, because I know lots of you are getting a bit upset about Benjamin Pavard. We have actually got a video coming out tonight. It will probably be about 10 p.m. tonight. It's a pre-recorded video, and I've spent literally the whole of today watching videos and reading scout reports on Benjamin Pavard, because I was like you. I thought, why are we signing this guy? Why are we interested in him? Why are we not going for Todibo? Why are we not going for Tomori? There were so many other centre-back options that I wanted over Benjamin Pavard, but I have done a video on it. It will come out on the channel later on, so keep an eye on that one. Right, let's keep up with the news, though. Let's keep rattling through all of the stories we have for you guys today. So we've obviously spoke about Donny. We've spoke about Fred. Right, this one you might like, you might not like. So take a deep breath here. Everybody, make sure you got your waters. Make sure you got a big beaker of water like I do. Make sure you're in a nice comfy chair. Take a sip of your water. Right, let's jump straight on into it. So there's a story coming out this afternoon that apparently Eric Bailly is set to join Besiktas in the coming days. So it looks like Eric Bailly is finally leaving Manchester United. There is unfortunately a bit of a twist in this tale, though, which is the bit that you won't like. Apparently, it looks like Eric Bailly is going to leave on a free transfer. Manchester United will not get any money for him. The story, this is coming from 2 or 3 different journalists. It says Eric Bailly will complete his permanent move to Besiktas tomorrow. He will join on a free transfer. Besiktas have agreed a 3-year contract with Eric Bailly. So Eric Bailly is finally going, but it looks like we're not going to get any money for it. I'm not sure what to make of that. I was hoping to get a couple of million, but, you know, he's on £5 million a year. He's never going to play for Manchester United again. I would probably at this stage rather save the wages, let him go for free to Besiktas. Erik ten Hag clearly doesn't fancy him in the squad, does he? He clearly doesn't see him as part of his plans. He didn't even go on the pre-season tour. He didn't get a single minute in any game in pre-season. Save the £5 million in wages, let him go to Besiktas for free. Just be rid of him. You know, he's 29 years of age. He's injury prone. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I know people in the chat are going to be like, how can you say that it's okay to let him go for free? Ultimately, I am not John Murtaugh. I am not Richard Arnold. I don't make the decisions at Manchester United, but I can understand why somebody who's been completely frozen out of Erik ten Hag's plans is 29 years of age with 1 year left and injury prone. I can see why most clubs in Europe are probably not going to want to pay a transfer fee for him. So as long as we save the wages, as long as we're not having to give him any sort of compensation, I'm not too bothered about that one. So yeah, I think it's a positive in the grand scheme of things, and it does just show his ruthlessness, Erik ten Hag's ruthlessness. You know, he could keep the player as an option, but he's just saying, I don't want him, get rid of him, I don't care about the transfer fee. So yeah, it looks like he will go to Besiktas, and it looks like it will be in the next couple of days. At the end of the day, as Bob says in the chat, we were never going to get good money for him. We were never going to get a good fee for Eric Bailly. Best case scenario, we were going to get somewhere between 2 and 5 million. I know that's better than nothing, but we're 3 days away from the Premier League starting, right? We need to get him off the wage bill. £5 million saved in wages. That's positive for me. It is. If he was on £5,000 a week, then obviously you'd say that's ridiculous. But he's on £80,000 a week. I don't think any clubs are going to pay him £80,000 a week. So I assume Besiktas will probably give him a massive signing on bonus and then maybe pay him half of that. Obviously, I'm just speculating, but that's probably what will happen. Because that's usually what happens with Manchester United players. They go for lesser wages, but get a big signing on bonus. So as soon as that one goes through, I will, of course, bring you the news. But I know it's not the most glamorous one. But I've had so many people in the chat saying, what's going on with Eric Bailly? Is he still at Manchester United? Is he still training? So that is the story on Eric Bailly. He looks like he's going to join Besiktas. Right. We've got a little bit of an update for you on another centre-back really quickly. Now, this is somebody I do really like. Mengi, he's obviously someone who's come through the youth academy. A very good centre-back. And apparently it looks like Teden Mengi is going to move to French side Amiens. I've not heard of them, to be honest. So Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Manchester United centre-back Teden Mengi has received a loan bid from French side Amiens. Discussions taking place now between all parties involved. So it looks like he will leave the club. Obviously, I wish him all the best on his loan move. He is somebody I do like. He's somebody who I do think had the opportunity to break into the Manchester United first team. I'm not sure if he will now. He's 21 years of age now. I'm not too sure. But let me know what you think about Mengi in the comments section. Let me know whether you think he's good enough to play for Manchester United in the future. I hope he is. Obviously, he has come through the youth academy. He's been here since under 18s level. I do love to see, you know, youth players coming through, but I'm not entirely convinced whether he will. He's got 1 year left on his contract with the option of 1 more year. I'd imagine he'll probably go out on loan this season and then probably leave for free next year. But let's hope that he goes there and does well, and let's hope that either he comes back and gets a place in the kind of the team, or maybe he gets sold for more money. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But Teden Mengi is set to leave Manchester United. Let's keep going on the news today. We've got so much to get into on the show this evening, guys. We really do. Let's move on to Hannibal Mejbri. Again, somebody you know that I really like. Now, this is positive. This is really positive news. There's a report coming out today that's saying apparently Hannibal and Manchester United are now in talks over a new contract. That's amazing. I love Hannibal. I think he could go on to be a really special player. So Hannibal looks like he'll be staying at Manchester United, getting a new contract. And it then goes on to say that it looks like he will then be loaned out, with Luton Town and Stade Rennais in the French league, both interested in loaning him out. So the plan for Hannibal is give him an improved contract, give him a longer deal, and then loan him out to either Luton Town in the Premier League or to Stade Rennais in the French league. If this was up to me, of course, I would loan him out to Luton Town because I think Premier League experience is essential. I do see him as someone who could break into the team in the next few years. Obviously, he's already playing at international level. When he has played for us before, I know it's only been in kind of pre-season games. He looks really solid to me. He's only 20 years of age. Obviously, he's a full Tunisian international already. And I do think he has the potential to break into that first team. So really positive that he's getting a new deal, and really positive that it looks like he's going to get a good loan move as well. So I wish him all the best. Obviously, big ups to him on getting his his new contract. Obviously, we don't know what the wages are and all of that, but he's a youth player. He's not going to be on crazy wages, is he? I'm just having a look. Yeah, he's got 1 year left on his deal at the moment. So it looks like Manchester United are renewing his contract, giving him a bigger salary and then moving him on. No issue with that at all. He did really, really well for Birmingham last year in the Championship. I've got a couple of friends who support Birmingham, and yeah, and they said he did really well for them last year. So a move to Luton in the Premier League would be really, really good for this player. And I will, of course, keep you updated on that one as and when we get news. Just to say as well, guys, I like to bring you news on all of our different players. I don't just focus on the kind of the big hitters, if you like. I will bring you news on the youth players. I'll tell you what's going on with Hannibal and people like that, because I do think it's important. These people are our future. I'm not just going to spend the whole show talking about, Rasmus Hojlund and talking about Harry Maguire and all people like that. I want to bring you all of the different bits of news around Manchester United so you can get a full picture of what's going on. We've got a bit of an update on Jonny Evans as well. Now, this is somebody who I thought would get a contract extension, but Manchester Evening News are reporting that that Manchester United want to sign another defender. Okay, we know that. They don't see Jonny Evans as a sufficient replacement for Harry Maguire. So we're still waiting to find out whether Jonny Evans will be rewarded with this new contract. But what's come out from Manchester Evening News is ultimately saying that he won't. And if he does, he's not going to be an adequate replacement for Harry Maguire. Now, you know me on this channel, I've said for weeks that I would rather have Jonny Evans than Harry Maguire. But as you know, I am not the Manchester United manager. I'm not John Murtough or Richard Arnold or any of them. So obviously I trust their decision. If they don't think Jonny Evans is good enough to be Harry Maguire's replacement, then I fully back it, I do. And we will, of course, talk about the centre-back situation in a minute, because there is so much to get into in that regard. But it looks like Jonny Evans is not going to be the replacement for Maguire. Maybe he stays as a fifth choice centre-back, but I'm not sure. The story from Manchester Evening News goes on to say that there are apparently other clubs in the Premier League who are interested in signing Jonny Evans as a first team player. So maybe someone like Luton Town, maybe someone like Burnley are willing to bring him in and actually give him first team football. So yeah, we'll have to keep you updated on that one, but we'll have to see. I just thought there was some breaking news there about the sale. Like, there's so many stories in there on Twitter, and you get roped into it. Apparently, the share price is rising at the moment. Apparently, it's 17% up. And obviously, as soon as that happens, everyone goes crazy. Everybody says the sale's going to happen, the share price is rising, and all the rest of it. But I'm kind of done with all of this share price stuff and all the rest of it. I just think it's a bit boring now. I do. Like, I hope and pray every single day that the Glazers leave the club, but every time the share price goes up, I get all excited, and then it just goes back down again. Like, it's at $23. It's not that high. One of my friends who's like really into stock trading and stockbroking and all of this, he seemed to think that it would need to be around $30, which would indicate a sale's going through. Anyway, I've got a bit sidetracked there because I know people are always asking me about the sale in the chat, and I try and avoid the question, but I did just see a story saying the stock price was on the rise and all the rest of it, so I'm sure people would start asking me that in the chat. Let's have a look. I will read out some of your questions as well in the second half of the show. So if you do have any questions, do get them in. And if you are just joining now, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel. We're literally less than 200 subscribers away from 10k now, guys, which is absolutely incredible. If we hit 10k on this stream, which is possible, I will gift 5 memberships. So do go and subscribe now if you haven't already, and let's see if we can do that. We've got over 1,000 people watching already, which is absolutely mad. So big ups to everybody who is in this community, and big ups to all the regulars, and big ups to all the new people. Right, let's keep things rolling though. Let's keep things going. Let's talk about the centre-back situation. I know that this one is causing a lot of mixed emotions amongst the fan base. Some of you want Todibo, some of you want Pavard, some of you want other people. There are so many differing opinions around this, and we did a poll on the community section of our page earlier. So if you aren't a subscriber, go and subscribe and you can get involved in these polls. So the question was, who do you want as the next Manchester United centre-back? I will echo this back to the chat, so you can let me know in the comment section. So the 3 options that we're currently heavily linked to are Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice, Benjamin Pavard from Bayern Munich, and Edmund Tapsoba from Bayern Leverkusen. Let me know which one you'd like. Let me know in the comment section, who is your preferred option? We did a poll earlier, as I said, 53% of you went for Jean-Claire Todibo, 42% of you went for Benjamin Pavard, and 5% of you went for Edmund Tapsoba. I've probably absolutely butchered his name, hasn't I? And if I have, I do apologise. He's not someone I'm that familiar with. He's from Bayern Leverkusen. I don't know that much about him. Whereas the other two, obviously, I know quite a lot about. let's bring you up to speed with what's going on with the centre-back position then. Obviously, we know what's happened with Maguire, so we don't need to talk about that. But there is a lot of news coming out around Benjamin Pavard. A lot. So it started off with Plettigol, the German journalist, saying that Manchester United are in concrete talks with Bayern Munich over a deal for Benjamin Pavard. Okay, that's the starting point. That's how we started today. Since then, we've had 2 or 3 other journalists saying that apparently Benjamin Pavard is Erik ten Hag's #1 target at Manchester United. This has come from L'Equipe. This has come from a German newspaper. It's also come from Sky in Germany. 2 or 3 different platforms have said that he is the #1 target, Benjamin Pavard. Now, I know all of you in the chat are going to start saying, I want Todibo, I don't want him. But I have a bit of a spanner in the works here because Benjamin Pavard is more of a right back. He's a right back who can also play at right centre back. And he's also played at CDM as well before. He's a very, very versatile player. So for me, I don't see it as one or the other. I see it as you go and get Benjamin Pavard now. Great bit of business. Gives us lots and lots of options in that defensive area. And then you go and get Jean-Claire Todibo either in January or next summer. Nobody else is in the race for Jean-Claire Todibo. No one. We're the only one, right? There is no pressure for us to sign him. So why do we not go and get Benjamin Pavard, who has 1 year left on his deal? He wants to leave Bayern Munich. And the other thing which is really positive about this player is he's only on £80,000 a week. Now, I know you're all sat at home screaming, £80,000 a week? That's so much. But when you compare that to Harry Maguire on 200 grand a week, you compare that to Raphael Varane on 300 grand a week. If you bring in somebody who's won the World Cup, he's won 4 German league titles. Honestly, I looked through his thing earlier for this video. He's won over 15 major titles in his career, and he's only just turned 27. He's an elite player. He really, really is. I've spent most of the day watching videos about him and reading scout reports. Just to be very, very clear, I want both of them. I think we need both. I think we need Todibo to replace Maguire and then eventually replace Varane when he gets, in 1 or 2 years, Varane will have to be moved on. But in the short term, I do think that both of them are essential, and I think that Pavard can come in. He can offer us something at right back, because I know lots of you in the chat have been spamming, we need a new right back, Wan-Bissaka's not good enough, Dallow's not good enough. Like, there have been so many people saying to me, Kieran, we need a new right back, why are we not doing this? He is the solution, I think, because he can play right back and centre back. He gives us 2 positions. I do think it's a good move to do. I was in the camp of Todibo. I was. This morning, I thought Todibo was the one. Let's do it. 100% Todibo. But after I've spent the day researching him, I can understand why Ten Hag wants to go for him. And the stories coming out, as I said, are that he is the #1 target. Whether we think that that's right or not, we have to trust Erik ten Hag. He is our manager. He is the one who is guiding us to this new place in our Manchester United history. And I have full faith in Erik ten Hag. So I think this deal will get done. We have a bit of clarity on what the price will be. So there's Sky in Germany and Sky Sports in the UK are saying that Benjamin Pavard will cost around 30 million euros. 30 million euros is about 25 million pounds. So let me just stop you for a minute. If I could have said at the beginning of the transfer window, right, Harry Maguire leaves and I'll give you Benjamin Pavard and 5 million. Every one of you would have agreed to do that, wouldn't you? That's absolutely mental, it is. You get rid of a 30-year-old Harry Maguire, who, let's be honest, hasn't been great for Manchester United for a very, very long time. And you bring in a serial winner, Benjamin Pavard, and you still have £5 million left in the bank. Like, I can see why this deal makes sense. And the thing you have to remember with Jean-Claire Todibo is he will cost more money. He's 23 years of age. He's on a really long contract, and he does have a release clause as well. His release clause is around 30 million euros. So, sorry, not 30. It's around 50 million euros. 50 million euros for Jean-Claire Todibo or 30 million euros for Pavard. Now, I know that they're both different ages. One's 27 and one's 23, but I can understand why this deal makes a lot of sense. So those are the 2 people who seem to be the most likely ones to get in. Obviously, we fully trust Erik ten Hag. He has my full backing. And if this is his #1 target, then 100% we need to go and get him. I don't even hesitate to question it. I know some of you want Todibo, but if he is the #1 target, Manchester United need to sign Benjamin Pavard. Let me just have a look where we are. The other thing as well, which is really, really good about this, is Benjamin Pavard wants to leave Bayern Munich. That's what's been reported today by Christian Faulkner. It's been reported by Sky. It's been reported by L'Equipe. It's been reported by 3 or 4 different journalists today that apparently he wants to leave Bayern Munich this summer. As I said, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. So if we're going to get him, this is the opportunity to get him. And all of you people screaming, I want Todibo, please do remember that Manchester City were about to sign this guy as a Kyle Walker replacement. Pep Guardiola thought he was good enough to replace Kyle Walker. They've been linked to him all summer, and it's only now that those links have dried up because Kyle Walker's just signed a new deal. So just think about that for a minute. Pep Guardiola was about to bring in this guy, Benjamin Pavard, as the new right back at Manchester City, who've just won the treble, to replace Kyle Walker. Like, I'm not saying we need to buy him purely because of that, but it just shows the level of player that he is regarded in the kind of world football. And for 25 million, I think it's a great deal. You get him for 25 million, Amrabat for 25 million. That's about the same amount of money that it would cost you for Jean-Claire Todibo. And I think we do need to do clever business this summer. We need to spend this money we get from Maguire, Fred, Dean Henderson, Scott McTominay potentially. We need to spend it well. He's 27 years of age, people are asking in the chat, yeah. So I'm happy about this one, and I do understand that some of you are disappointed, but just see it as he is more of a right back. He's more of a right back who can play at right centre back. So see it more like that. I think next summer we'll go in for a new centre-back, and maybe we get someone like Antonio Silva, Tomori. There are 2 or 3 centre-back options that we can get. And as Bob the Builder says in the chat, Fabrizio has said earlier on today that he wants to go and he wants to come to United. So we have another player who is publicly, through Fabrizio, through other journalists, saying he wants to join our beloved club. And that's exactly what we want. We want people who are coming here for the right reasons. And I do think that Pavard is that. Just on the final bit of Pavard, you know, you're probably thinking I'm being paid by Pavard to say all of this, aren't you? You know, as I said, I've spent all day watching videos and watching scout reports about him, and that's why I'm so excited and animated about it. The thing you have to remember is he played in that French team that won the World Cup alongside Raphael Varane. Okay, so they already have a partnership. They already know what to expect of each other. And I think that is a massive, massive bonus. I do. There won't be much kind of adjusting or, settling in, because he already has that relationship with our starting right-sided centre-back. So I think this is a really, really good move. I think it's a clever move. Jean-Claire Todibo could come in. I know he's the hipster name. I know he's the name that everyone's really excited about. But let's be honest, he could come in and he might not do very well. Whereas I do think Benjamin Pavard would come in. He would hit the ground running. He's won Champions Leagues, FA, World Cups. You know, he's a very, very experienced player. But let's look at the other options that are currently being linked to. We're linked to 4 different centre-backs at the moment. So obviously we've spoke about Pavard, we've spoke about Todibo. There is 2 more people that we're linked to. The other one is Gaya from Crystal Palace. I've probably said his name wrong. If I have, I do apologise. So apparently Fabrizio is... was it Fabrizio? Somebody today was reporting that apparently Manchester United are interested in a Gaya. Let me just check who it was, because I know people in the chat will want to know who the source is. So there's some breaking news actually on Pavard coming out now, literally just in the last 4 minutes, from Florian Plettenberg. So Florian Plettenberg is reporting that Pavard can really imagine joining Manchester United as Ten Hag wants him. Concrete talks are now ongoing and positive. The price valuation is around 30 million euros. Thomas Tuchel wants to keep him at Bayern, but Pavard wants to leave. Would be a massive loss for the club. So let me just remind you of that there, okay? He's not being pushed out of Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich want to keep him. It literally says on my screen here, Pavard wants to leave Bayern Munich. It would be a massive loss for the club. Thomas Tuchel wants to keep him at Bayern. So we're not buying some flop from Bayern. We're not buying a flop. We're buying somebody who literally Thomas Tuchel wants to keep, the club want to keep, but he wants to leave. So just remind yourselves that. And as well, the fact that he wants to leave and he wants to come to Manchester United is obviously really, really positive. 30 million euros, I take that any day of the week. Let's talk about the other options though, because we do have a few other people. So we've got a journalist coming out this afternoon saying that Crystal Palace Mark Gaya is also an option for Manchester United to replace Harry Maguire. I'm not too sure about this guy. Like, he does look quite good, doesn't he? But I don't know. I would prefer Todibo over him. He's 23 years of age. Yeah, it's a no from me. I wouldn't go for Mark Gaya from Crystal Palace. I wouldn't. My order of priorities would probably be Benjamin Pavard, Jean-Claire Todibo, Edmund Tapsoba, and then Mark Gaya at the very, very bottom. But let me know in the comment section, who would you like to be the next centre-back? Joe has asked, Kieran, will it be possible for Manchester United to get both Pavard and Todibo? I think it is possible, yeah. I think that we'll get Pavard now, and then I think that maybe in January or next season we'll go for Todibo. Because as we've spoken about many, many times on this channel, Varane is going to have to be replaced in the next couple of years, I think. He's obviously an elite player, he's world class, but he can only play one game a week. He is slowly deteriorating. As much as I love Raphael Varane, I do think within the next 2 years, he will have to be replaced by a younger player who can play twice a week, because having somebody who can only play once a week and you have to manage his injuries, he's obviously retired from the international team. He's only 30 years of age, remember? And the fact that he's had to retire from international level is kind of worrying. Obviously, it's good for us because it means that he's focusing on Manchester United. But yeah, Varane's only got 2 years left on his deal as well. So within 2 years, we're going to have to replace Raphael Varane. And I think someone like Todibo, someone like Tomori, someone like Antonio Silva will come in and replace him. So yeah, in short, I do think we will get both of them, but it might just not be in the same transfer window. We've got over 1,200 people watching today, guys. That's the most we've ever had on a stream. So big ups to everybody in this community. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're literally 150 subscribers away from 10K now. That's absolutely mental. We only started the channel 8 weeks ago. So big ups to everybody. Please do subscribe if you're new. I will gift 5 memberships if we hit 10K subscribers by the end of this video. We will be live for another half an hour. So we've got half an hour to do it. So do make sure you like, subscribe, do all the rest of it. Get involved in the comment section. Right, let's keep things moving on the show. And as always, do let me know on the centre-back situation. Let me know who you would like to see, because I do look forward to seeing you guys' comments after the show finishes. Right. I wanted to bring this in really, really quickly. I know that people are going to say, why are we talking about this? But he is somebody we've been linked with. It was someone we talked about on the show for months and months and months. So Zion Suzuki, the goalkeeper, obviously from Japan, has come out and spoken about the Manchester United move. He says, it's true that there was an offer from Manchester United. Of course, I would like to go to Manchester United, but after careful consideration, I have made the decision. United have now signed Andre Onana, and it's important for me to play first-team football. So, I mean, that's nice that he's come out and said that. Obviously, it doesn't really mean anything. He's not going to become a Manchester United player. He's moving to another club in Belgium, and he's probably missed his opportunity to play for Manchester United. But ultimately, that's his decision, and if that's what he wants to do, then so be it. Right, let's move on to something a little bit more topical and something related to the video title. So, we had some breaking news coming out 2 hours ago from 2 different journalists in the UK saying that the Mason Greenwood decision is now imminent. We are expecting it to come very, very soon. That's what she said. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah. So it does look like this deal that he will be coming back. I think he will be coming back, but at this point, we are just waiting for the confirmation. It will be imminently announced. Manchester United obviously did promise that it would be before the beginning of the season, which is obviously begins on Monday. So they've got a very small window now to get this deal announced. We've got a couple of days really for them to announce it. 2 or 3 journalists today have announced that it will be imminently announced. Now I can see loads and loads of people in the chat asking about McTominay. The McTominay situation has gone very, very quiet. It has. Obviously, Manchester United want around 45 million for McTominay. I don't think West Ham will pay that for him. I don't. Obviously, anybody who has missed out on the news today, Lucas Paqueta has apparently had a £70 million bid rejected from Manchester City. So West Ham are going to have a bundle of money very, very soon. They've obviously already got the money from Rice and from, what's he called? Skamaka. But it looks like Paqueta's also going to go as well. I think McTominay's one to keep an eye on closer to the end of the window. I don't think it will happen imminently for McTominay. I think we will have to wait a couple of weeks and maybe they'll come back in for a bid. I would probably say at this point it's 50-50 with McTominay. Yeah, I'm not too sure. All right, this is a good question. Jimmy has brought in a question. He says, do we need a new striker? Really, really good question, Jimmy. Thank you for that. I think we 100% need a new striker, 1,000% sure. Obviously, Rasmus Hojlund's injury is not as bad as it was originally made out. So anybody who missed the show this afternoon, apparently Rasmus Hojlund will be back within 3 weeks. And it looks like he'll make his debut against Arsenal at the Etihad in 3 weeks' time. Obviously, that's a bit disappointing. I know some of you wanted him to start the game on Monday, but that's definitely not going to happen. Apparently, Manchester United have put out a statement of some sort through press saying that, you know, the stories that came out yesterday were not fabricated, but a little bit over over-exaggerated, let's say, and this injury that's been reported isn't as bad as people are making out. It's a very minor injury, and it's something they think they can manage. So I think that's a really, really positive situation. Obviously, I know people are worried. They're saying, why have we spent all this money on somebody who's injured? I get that, but yeah, this is what came out this afternoon. It says Rasmus Hojlund is following an individual program with the club managing his recovery from a minor injury picked up at his former club. This problem should prevent him from playing football for a few weeks while he gets back into shape for matches. So it looks like it will just be a couple of weeks. And Manchester United, via Manchester Evening News, are describing it as a minor injury. So I don't think it's anything to worry about too much. I don't think it's anything to worry about too much. So that is good. And it looks like, he will make his debut versus Arsenal. Imagine if he scores at the Emirates. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? He makes his Manchester United debut and he scores at the Emirates. That's what I'm expecting now. I'm really, really hoping that does happen. But who knows? I'm not a doctor, as I said many, many times before. I'm not a doctor. So The Athletic have reported, just to finalise that bit of the show before we move on, The Athletic have spoke about Rasmus Hojlund today, and they've said Manchester United have insisted that Rasmus Hojlund's injury is not a long-term issue. So that's music to my ears. Really, really happy about that. I know yesterday there was a lot of scaremongering. There was a lot of people worried. There was a lot of people saying, why the hell have we bought this player? But I think it was just a tabloid newspaper who blew it out of proportion. And it does sometimes happen, these tabloid newspapers, The Sun, the Daily Mail, they put out these stories, they put out these hit pieces against people because ultimately everybody wants Rasmus Hojlund to fail apart from Manchester United fans. Sky Sports do. Whenever they report on him, they report the price, including all the add-ons. You never see them do that with other players, You see them talk about a player going to Arsenal and they say, oh, he's going for 60 million, when really it's 75, including add-ons. As soon as it's Manchester United, they've already added the add-ons, even though they might never get achieved. So you just have to remember that Manchester United are the most hated club in world football. Everybody hates us, but everybody loves us, really. So just try and block out some of the noise. People talking about Mason Greenwood in the chat. Do just scroll back and listen to the show because we did speak about him already. Simon says, Kieran, who is your preference at centre-back? So my preference, my number one option for centre-back is Antonio Silva from Benfica. But at this moment right now, I think that Benjamin Pavard is a good option purely because of his versatility. I would go for Benjamin Pavard, and then next summer I would go for Antonio Silva from Benfica. But I wouldn't be that upset if we get Jean-Claire Todibo. What else have we got? We got any more comments coming in? Do get your questions coming in, guys. I will read some out in the last kind of 10 or so minutes of the show. So do get some in and I will read them out. Yeah, as somebody says, the two defensive errors by Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot have convinced Erik ten Hag to buy Pavard. Yeah, I do hear you, mate. As I said, we've got a show coming up at about 10 o'clock tonight, which will be pre-recorded, where we're doing a proper deep dive into Benjamin Pavard. So if you are sitting on the fence about this guy, do make sure you check out that show later. I was definitely in the same camp as you for a long time. I was in this, why are we signing him? He's not good enough and all the rest of it. But I did get converted. So, keep an eye on that one. So we've got a bit more, just to wrap up that bit on Pavard really quickly. There's a bit of an update coming from Plettigol again. He says that Manchester United are now the favourites to sign Benjamin Pavard. The player wants to move to Manchester United. A deal can be done around £26 million. There you go. That is what it is. So somebody in the chat's asking about the Brazilian striker that we're linked to. So we've heard absolutely nothing about Marcos Leonardo, the 20-year-old Brazilian striker from Santos. Looks really, really good. It's gone very, very quiet around him. We were heavily linked to him a couple of days ago, but now we've heard absolutely nothing. I'm not too sure what's happening with this one. Apparently Roma are also interested. Apparently a couple of Serie A clubs. I don't know. I think from the bottom of my heart, if you want my honest opinion, I think Mason Greenwood will come back. And I have this funny feeling that we're going to go after Mohamed Kudus. I know I talk about him on every single show, but I just have a feeling that we're going to go after Mohamed Kudus. He hasn't agreed terms with Brighton yet. Obviously, Brighton have agreed, I think it's €40 million deal, but he hasn't agreed terms with Brighton. So there is an opportunity for us to go and hijack this deal. That's who I would go and get in the striker position, but obviously I'm not the manager. I am not the manager of Manchester United, am I? Right, I'm going to read out some of your questions before we wrap up the show. So do get your questions in if you haven't already. Put the letter Q in front of your message, and I will read out a couple of questions before the show ends. So do get involved. Voice of Reason says, is Pavard going to be the right back? Yeah, I think he'll be the right back and the centre back. Right back and right centre back. Obviously not at the same time, but I think he obviously can cover both of those positions. So yeah, I can see why Ten Hag is doing that one. Let's have a look. We've got a couple more questions coming in, so let's get into these. Somebody's asking about Sophie and Amrabat. We did speak about Amrabat at the beginning of the show, so just rewind the video to the beginning. What else we got? Jonathan says, do you think if they see Paqueta and Rice, West Ham United would need to buy McTominay with Ward-Prowse? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Obviously, if Paqueta does go, then maybe West Ham come back in for Declan Rice, for Scott McTominay. James Ward-Prowse is now on the brink of moving to West Ham, so maybe they don't go for McTominay, maybe they do. I guess James Ward-Prowse is quite different to McTominay, I would say. I don't think they're the same kind of players, so yeah, they're losing most of their best players, aren't they? Somebody says, how do we scroll back to find out about Mason Greenwood? If you just start the video from the beginning, you'll be able to catch up on everything. Stefan says, I'd love to know why we haven't sewn up the Amrabat deal. We haven't sewn up the Amrabat deal because we need to sell Fred or Donny. That's what's been reported. So until those two players go, Amrabat is not coming to Manchester United. That is what the hold-up is. What have we got? Simon says, what do you want to happen with Mason Greenwood? I have spoke about this before, but I will give my opinion really quickly. I think the best thing for Mason Greenwood in a footballing sense is that either he goes out on loan or he goes into the under-21s. I think bringing him back to the first team immediately would be a mistake. He's obviously not going to be ready to play football for a very long time. So I think either put him in the under-21s or either send him out on loan. I would probably say put him in the under-21s at this point. I'm not going to go into my personal reasons about it because I've discussed this so many times on the show. And I just think it's a bit pointless to backtrack and talk about it again. But I have talked about my own personal feelings towards Mason Greenwood before. But looking at it purely from a footballing perspective, send him into the under-21s or out on loan. Right, we've got a couple more questions coming in. Stefan says, can we sweep in for Kane? I don't think so. I think the Kane ones, I think that's as good as done. We're not going to get Harry Kane. Maybe we get him for free next year, but we're not going to get him now. Irvin says, Kieran, did you see there are some videos about Greenwood training? Looks like he completely forgot how to play football. He is unsaleable, IMO. Yeah, I did see those videos. I'm not going to judge him based on a video that I seen on Twitter, though. You know, how do we know that that journalist didn't sit there for the whole time he was training and waited for the worst minute where he missed a shot and then videoed it, you know? Like, we saw a 30-second clip of Mason Greenwood and he absolutely skied it from about 5 yards. Yeah, I don't think you just lose footballing ability from not playing. I think it will just take time for him to be back at the ability, fitness-wise, strength-wise, to be able to compete in the Premier League. And that's why I think send him to the under-21s. You know, there's not going to be any pressure. There won't be anybody in the stadium to be shouting abuse at him. And then see what happens after that. That's what I would do. He's not going to come in and win us the Premier League, all right? So, and I don't think he's going to come in and get Anthony out of the team. Not now anyway. So for me, send him to the under-21s. Let's have a look. Somebody's asking about Fred. We've already spoke about Fred. Rewind back to the beginning. Yeah, anybody asking about Fred and Donny van der Beek, we have already covered that. So just rewind back to the beginning. Joe says, Kieran, I guess very soon you need to start using slow mode for the comments. Your channel is growing so fast. Cheers. I'm not actually sure how to do that. I'm not. But as always, big ups to everybody in this community. I really, really do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I love speaking to you every single day on this show. So yeah, honestly, I'm blown away by the rate that this channel is growing. It is absolutely mental. Anybody who's new, we only started this channel 8 weeks ago. And the community we've built already is honestly, it's so special. So massive shouts to all of you. Anybody who is new, please do subscribe. And everybody who's a regular, please do smash a like on the video. As I said, we're less than 100 subscribers away from 10k now, which is honestly, it completely blows my mind. I'll read out a couple more questions before we end the video, and then I will be going off to have my dinner. Anthony says, if Paqueta goes to Manchester City, West Ham will then pay the 45 million for McTominay. But if they don't, I will gladly keep him for depth. Yeah, I agree. I think if we can get 45 million for him, then obviously we have to sell him. But 30 million, I'm not sure. I think we can get a bit more. Z says, Fred must be delighted leaving, having played no preseason. Donny van der Beek, I'm not sure. Nobody came in and made a bid for him. I'm not sure what you mean there. Mean there, my friend? I'm not sure what you mean. I think Fred had some sort of personal issue. I don't think he didn't go on the preseason tour because of him moving. I think it was something to do with a personal issue. Somebody says, who will be our last minute panic buy this transfer season just for fun? Who will be our last signing? I think we'll get a striker. I do. I think we'll sign another striker. I'm not sure who it will be. I don't think it will be Harry Kane, but I would say the wild card signing will be another striker. Maybe we'll try and hijack the Mohamed Kudus deal. Okay, this is a good one. Simon says, what is your prediction for the Wolves game? That's a good question. I'm going to echo that back to the chat. Please do let me know in the comment section, what is your prediction for the Wolves game on Monday? You know what? You know what I like to do on this channel? I like to be positive, but I'm not deluded, okay? I don't live in some fairy tale world. I'm going with 3-0 Manchester United. I reckon we're going to absolutely batter Wolves. They've just sacked their manager. They've got Gary McNeil, who got sacked from Bournemouth as the caretaker manager. I reckon we're going to absolutely batter Wolves. So 3-0. Let me know in the comment section what your score predictions are. Yeah, 3-0 is good. Jimmy says, dinner is tea. Yeah, so dinner is tea. I don't know what you guys call your evening meal in the UK, wherever you are in the world, but where I am in the south, dinner is tea. I know up north they call dinner tea. Anyway, I'm getting confused there. Peter says, Pavard couldn't get into the Bayern centre-back, then Bayern went in and bought Kim Min-jae. Now we're supposed to settle for the same Pavard. I always thought that he played at right-back for Bayern Munich, so I'm not really sure what you mean there, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, keep getting your score predictions in for the Wolves game. Let me know what you think. So somebody says, who do you think we buy as a McTominay replacement? Obviously, Amrabat will be the replacement for Fred and Donny, and then I think we will get a replacement for Scott McTominay. I'm not too sure who it will be at this stage. Obviously, Romeo Lavia looks like he's going to Southampton. Caicedo is going to Chelsea. So I don't know. I'll come back to that one at a later date. Maybe it's going to be Kobe Mainoo. Maybe Kobe Mainoo just gets promoted to the first team permanently and takes Scott McTominay's position. I would be happy with that. I don't think we need a replacement for Scott McTominay. I think we have Kobe Mainoo. You bring him in. Apparently, he's going to be back from his injury in mid-September. So in about a month's time. The injury is not as bad as it was meant to be originally. That's what Samuel Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News is reporting. So yeah, for me, I don't think we need a replacement for McTominay. We give it to Kobe Mainoo. Big ups to Jimmy as well, who's just gifted 1 Daily Red Devil membership to somebody in the chat. Whoever gets the membership, please do say thank you to Jimmy. Absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much. If you do want to join the members club, then I'm going to drop a link for it in the chat. Any support on the channel is, of course, appreciated. I'm going to read out 2 more questions before we end the video. Java says, who do you predict will have the most assists at the end of the season? I think it will be Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno is going to have a really good season. I think he's going to get a load of assists. One final question. Frank says, who do you think is better with his feet, Kovar or Heaton? I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't seen enough of both of them to really give an opinion. Tom Heaton is staying, though. Tom Heaton's staying as the backup goalkeeper, so I'm happy with Tom Heaton. I think he's more than good enough to be the backup goalkeeper. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I'm going to go for my dinner, my tea, my scran, whatever you want to call it, my evening meal. Thank you so much to everybody who's watched today. It's been an absolutely incredible stream. Big ups to every single one of you in this community. I do really, really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Please do smash a like on the video on your way out. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll be back at 8 AM UK time tomorrow for another interactive show. We have got a video going up on the channel later on today, which is going to be a pre-recorded one, which is ultimately a deep dive into Benjamin Pavard. So hopefully anybody who is in the unsure camp about Pavard will check out that video and will hopefully feel a little bit more positive about the potential signing. Again, thank you so much for watching. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran. Lots of love and peace out.